Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful start of the new year. Now, as we go into 2026, I decided that I would do the beginning of the year book tag. I believe this tag was created by Larry Reeds and it's been going on for years, but I thought I would participate in it this year and see how we go with the questions. I'm really excited for this reading year because I have so many things that I really want to read this year, and so many ways that I want to expand the way that I'm reading. So without further ado, let's get into the questions. So question number 1 is, how many books are you planning to read in 2026? Now, I actually get my partner to set my book goals. So this last year in 2025, I reached 78 books read. And so my partner has given me the number 90 to make it to. And because he believes that I can make that number, I believe I can make that number. I have faith that I can get there this year. There were a couple of gaps last year in my reading where I slumped a little bit, or it just didn't go as well for me, that I probably could slot a lot more books in. So I have faith that I can reach 90 this year, and we'll see how we go. But honestly, I think that's a really good number to start off with this year. Question number 2 is a book you're likely to reread this year. I do have a couple of books in mind that I want to reread. Firstly, I want to reread Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood again, because I have yet to read the second and third books in that series, and I feel like in order to do that and keep it fresh, I need to reread House of Earth and Blood first to sort of remind myself, because there's a lot of things that happened in that book that I probably don't even remember from my first read through. So I thought I'd reread that this year so I can move on to House of Sky and Breath and eventually finish Sarah J. Maas's released works currently. The next book I want to reread is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. Now, I read this years ago and I think I started reading Chain of Iron, the sequel, halfway, and for some reason I stopped. So I really want to reread the first book in that series so I can restart and read all 3 of those books. So again, I have finished the Shadowhunters up to date. So it's honestly, my rereads this year are looking more and more like it's more of a reread to continue a series, because my third book that I want to reread is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, because I own all the books up to date in the Crowns and the Axes series, and I feel like I need to reread that first one because, again, I started reading the second one and I didn't complete it all the way. I read halfway and for some reason I stopped. So I really want to read the first book again and get through that whole series this year, and I think that that would be really good accomplishment for me to do. So yeah, again, my rereads that I want to do are basically just to continue series. Like, I do want to reread the entire Shadowhunters Chronicles by Cassandra Clare again. I think that that would be a good jump down memory lane for me, and it will also be good because she's got a new series in that collection coming out this year, and it's to do with characters in The Dark Artificers, which is the last in the chronological order. So I really want to reread that whole series as well. But yeah, they're basically the rereads that I'm planning on doing this year. Hopefully I get to all of them. Question number 3 is a priority read on your 2026 TBR. Now, I'm going to put a graphic on this side of me. Basically, I have done my 26 in 2026 that I want to get through. And all of these are priority reads for me because they're all on my TBR. They're all been sitting there for so long that at this point I need to at least try and read them to see if they're actually any good. And also there's a couple of books on there that I'm excited to read that were new releases last year that I think that I really need to get to. So that is basically all my priority reads are on this list. Honestly, I don't think there's anything else that I want to prioritize over anything else. Like, if I read it, I read it, but these are the ones that I want to hopefully tick off before the end of the year and have the whole lot of them either unhold if I don't like them, or to be proud of them on my shelf if I do like them. Question number 4 is an author you won't be reading more books from in 2026. Now, take what I say here with basically like my own reading tastes and books that I've read last year that I feel like just weren't my vibe. I will not be reading any more Victoria Aveyard. I personally think that either her writing style just isn't quite right for my reading tastes, or she writes books that when the writing style is better, it's a little bit younger for me. So I think that she was an author that I heard a lot about years and years ago, and I haven't heard as much recently, so I'm not as inclined to pick up her books, not because they're not good anymore, but because I think I passed that stage in my life where her books are going to hit for me. And this year I'm trying to read more books that I know are going to go well or I'm going to enjoy. The other author that I don't want to buy any more from this year is Taran Matharu. I just feel like the writing style just isn't for me. I could see the potential in those books. I loved the storylines that were being developed. I just don't think that I meld with the writing style as much. I think that their writing style is a little bit, not too gritty, but just a little bit more than what I'm wanting. It's hard to put into words exactly why. It's just that there's certain things in their writing style that was a little bit abrasive for me, and I feel like I can leave it for other people to read that are going to enjoy it. Like I don't need any more of the books. I'm unhauling the first and second book in the series that I started last year, the Dragon Rider series, and I personally think that I'm not really going to miss them that much. Question 5 is something new you want to read. Last year, I was sort of delving into horror, but I didn't go very far. So something new I want to read is definitely horror. I want to delve into horror. I want to find my niche. I want to find exactly what I like. I have found that I really like the element in horror where nature takes over in that sort of subgenre of horror, but I want to find more subgenres. I want to find more tropes that I enjoy. And I just want to ideally find a book this year that genuinely scares me. I want to be reading a book and being as scared as I am watching a horror movie, if that makes sense. But also on the same sort of strain of things, I do want to try a little bit more dark romance with limits though, because I feel like some dark romance for my tastes is a little bit too much, because I don't like bully tropes. I don't like how abusers turn into the epic loves. Like I don't like those sorts of things, but I think that I've read enough dark romantasy, dark fantasy that I can find dark romance that I might enjoy. So I'm willing to try that this year and expand my genres a little bit, because honestly, trying new genres last year, I found some of my favorite books of all time in those reads. Like literary fiction, I found so many books that I really genuinely enjoyed. So I think that expanding that this year will be really, really good for me. Question number 6 is a popular book you want to read. And I have so many popular books I want to read. I'm just going to put them all around me on the screen, all around. But the main 3 that I want to prioritize From Blood and Ash / the From Flesh and Fire series. I think that I honestly just need to know what the fuss is about. I need to know what people are obsessed with and what people hate about it and what people love about it. And I just need to know. The other series I really need to know about and read is the Throne of the Fallen series. I want the Princess of Sin spin-off of the Kingdom of the Wicked to be just as good for me as that was. And it's really popular. Like a lot of people are really into that series, and I think that would really go well for me. And I'm just like, again, I put all the books that I wanted to read on the screen. They're all popular books in some way, shape or form. And I want to read them all. I'm indecisive. What can I say? The next question is my most anticipated releases for 2026. Now, I have a list. I have a list on my Goodreads where I have made all the 2026 releases that I want to keep my eye on. And probably number 1 out of all the ones that I've read previously that I've got my eye on is The Last King of Fairy by Cassandra Clare, which is expanding on the Dark Artificers, the Shadowhunters Chronicles as a whole. And I feel like that's really, really exciting. We weren't expecting anything else from the Shadowhunters world. She said she was done with it. And I personally think that we deserve more. And I think that we can get more from this series. But this is coming from someone that grew up with this series. This was my ride or die series as a teenager. I read this book as my first sort of foray into large chapter books. And there's a connection I have with it, and I'm so excited for that book. And I'm also excited with the expansion on those certain characters that are going to be in these books. So I'm very excited for that one. I'm also quite excited to see how Heather Fawcett expands away from the Emily Wilde world when she has Agnes Orbert's mystical cat shelter. I'm intrigued to see if that hits the same as Emily Wilde did for me. I'm really excited for that one as well. I'm kind of excited to test The Midnight Train by Matt Haig. I enjoyed The Midnight Library. I was bawling at the end of that. And I think that The Midnight Train is an extension of that. So it'd be interesting to see how that one goes. Chasing the Fire by Paisley Hope is also another new release that I'm really excited for. I didn't expect there to be another book in this series, so I'm actually kind of hyped. And having a firefighter sort of romance, and with the female character that I think it is, I think that's really cool and exciting, and I'm hyped for that one as well. Most of the other books on my 2026 release list are books that I haven't read the first book in yet. I've just got my eye on them, and we will see if I get the first book done and how excited I am for the second book after that. Question number 8 is a bookish goal for 2026. So my main goal this year is to focus on mood reading. I am a mood reader at heart, and last year I think most of my book slumps happened because I was forcing myself to read books on my TBR or off my TBR that I genuinely didn't want to read. So that also extended to books picked by my local book club or books picked by book clubs I'm in on Fable. I was reading books that I knew I wouldn't like because other people were reading them. And I think that personally for this year, I really just need to focus on books that I'm really excited for. If I'm not enjoying a book, I would love to be able to just put it down. If I know that I'm loving a book, but I'm having trouble with it and it's taking me longer, I'd like to be able to put it down, pick up another one and come back to that without feeling guilty in myself about doing that, because there's no reason for me to feel guilty about it, because it's literally just me punishing me, basically. Another bookish goal that I have this year, a huge one that I had last year as well, but I didn't quite hit it the way that I wanted to this year, is I want to read more Australian authors. So if you don't know and you can't tell, I live in Australia. I'm from Australia, and there's a lot of Australian authors here that I feel like I just haven't read, and I feel like I want to read them. I want to expand away from the more authors that were from the US, which is what my majority authors were last year. And I want to come in and bring a lot of Australian authors in. Even authors from other countries that are other than the US or the UK would be fantastic, but mostly Australian authors I want to focus on. I want to read more from Australian authors that I've read before that I really enjoyed, and I want to find out who their favourite Australian authors are and read from them. And I think that that will be really good for what I'm doing this year with mood reading as well, because there's a lot of Australian authors that I really genuinely want to read and try out. Question number 9 is a book that you have on your TBR that you probably won't ever read. I am the sort of person that looks at my bookshelf often, and if I see a book on there that I'm probably never going to touch, it comes off my bookshelf. I'm very cutthroat with books these days, but I do have one book on my shelves that I umming and ahhing about. I have it on here because it's a different genre. It's an Australian author, and I think that I could give it a chance and enjoy it, but I always put it off. And I would get that off my bookshelf, but it is stuffed in there and I cannot move it for the life of me. But the book is Dark Mode by Ashley Callaghan Blunt. Now, I don't think this will be a bad book. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a good book for my tastes, but I have it there. It's an Australian author, but it's the one book on my bookshelf that I avoid a lot and I pretend is not there. So hopefully I read that this year, and hopefully it's not a book that I never touch. But like I said, for the most part, I unhaul them. So if it gets to a point in this year where I just think I'm never going to read it, or I try and read it and it doesn't go well, it's going to come straight off the shelf anyway. Question number 10 is a series you want to read this year. So I obviously want to read the Crowns and the Axia series, so The Serpent and the Wings of Night and all the other ones in that series. I own them all up to date because she is an auto-buy author for me. I didn't enjoy her Daughter of No World series, but I enjoy the Crowns and the Axia for the most part on what I've read, the 1.5 books I've read. So I have been auto-buying all of those books. They are sitting right here. But I personally think that I need to actually just get out of the way and read the actual series. The same goes for From Blood and Ash and Of Flesh and Fire. Those ones by Jennifer L. Armentrout have been on my list for a while. I own all the books but one up to date. And I honestly just need to start it before I buy any more in that series. I need to stop buying them. I need to actually start the series and read them, because that was definitely a book series I did not need to buy the whole series of. I don't even know if I'm going to like it. I need to read that this year to establish whether it's good or not. Honestly, it's intimidating me because every time I pick up those books, they are so heavy, the writing is so small, and the pages are stark white. So I am honestly really intimidated, but I really, really want to read that series this year. I also want to, as I said earlier, reread the Shadowhunters universe. So all of those series, I want to reread them. I would love to finish the Plated Pit Prisoner series. I have 3 more books left in that series. And there's probably more series that I want to read, like the Crescent City series. Definitely I want to finish this year, get it out of the way. I've been putting it off for so long that at this point I need to just suck it up and just do it, because I think I've mainly been putting it off because there's no other books by her released yet. But now that we have little whispers of books coming out, I think that I can get that series out of the way so that when the next ACOTAR book comes out, I am pumped, ready. It doesn't matter if there's spoilers because I've read them all. So yeah, they're basically the series that I really wanted to read this year. Question number 11 is, who are your auto-buy authors going into 2026? Now, as I said, Carissa Broadbent is an auto-buy author for me, with limitations. If she adds to her other series, I don't think I will buy them. But at the moment, the Crowns and the Axia series, we don't see a sight of it ending currently, I don't think. So yes, she is an auto-buy author for me this year. So if books come out in that series, I will be buying them straight away. Another auto-buy author is always going to be Cassandra Clare. Whatever she releases in her new series, whatever she releases in the Shadowhunters series, I will eat up and buy. She is a nostalgic author for me, and I just can't stop myself, honestly. Also on that list is Sarah J. Maas. If she releases anything at all, I will be buying it. There isn't a release date for this year for any of her books yet, but she is always an auto-buy author for me. She's always going to be an auto-buy author for me. There is no doubt about it. And the same goes for Carrie Maniscalco. I own all of her books up to date. I have yet to read the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, and I have yet to read the Princess of Sin series, but she is an auto-buy author for me because I love her books anyway. So hopefully I read all the books I have of hers this year, but I will also be buying Throne of Nightmares when it comes out later on this year. And the last author that I do have on my auto-buy list that's in my head is Paisley Hope, because I've been loving her books. They're so easy and bingeable to read. It's just so nice and refreshing. So definitely when the new book comes out, I'll be buying it straight away. There's no doubt about it. If she has a miraculous special like bonus book that's a surprise, I will be buying that book as well. There's no doubt about it. They are basically my top 5 auto-buy authors at the moment. They might change next year. Who knows? Question number 12 is a book to show adaptation that you're excited about this year. I think my number one, I wouldn't say excited about, but intrigued to see what it's like, is Sunrise on the Reaping. I want to know whether they do better than the book for me, because yes, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the book was better for me, but I didn't have the same experience with Sunrise on the Reaping that a lot of other people had. But I'm hoping that maybe attaching like a visual movie to it might actually help me love that book a bit more. Like I understand that the book's good and I can see where it's coming from. I just feel like it was a bit of a same of the original trilogy. So it'd be interesting to see what the movie's like. I'm also a little hyped for Verity, because Verity is a book that I binged in one day that was so good for me. Not in rating wise, it was very mid rating, but I had an enjoyable, fantastic time with it, reading it. So I'm intrigued to see that, especially with who they've cast. I think that's going to be really, really exciting. The other movie or show adaptations that are coming out that I have my eye on are not books that I have read. So People We Meet on Vacation is probably an Emily Henry. I have the least amount of wants to pick that up. I don't know what it is. But there's some reason that's the book that she's written that I least want to buy. But maybe if I watch the movie, I want to read the book. So that one and The Love Hypothesis, I think I'm giving Ali Hazelwood one more chance to hopefully be good for me, but I don't see myself reading The Love Hypothesis. So I think watching that will be great. And Lily Reinhart's in it. So I'm going to watch it anyway. So I'm kind of happy about that. But yeah, a lot of the things coming out this year aren't really things that I've read, just the two that I've read, and that's okay. I'm still going to be hyped and watch them, and I've got like a bunch of friends that will want to watch all these movies anyway that are done by with books, so I think that I'm still hyped for them regardless. Question 13 is a sequel that you're anticipating in 2026. So I think my number one sequel that I'm anticipating is The Knave and the Moon by Rachel Gillig. The Night and the Moth, the way that ended was so damn intriguing that I'm so pumped for that sequel to come out. The other sequel I'm excited about, knowing that I haven't read the second book in the series, but this is the third book, is Holy Monsters by Imani Eriu. I really loved Heavenly Bodies, and I know that I'm going to read the next release because it's already out. I just haven't bought it yet because I'm trying to save a little bit of money. But I'm really hyped for that third book. I think that it's going to be really, really good. I don't know if that's the last one. I need to figure that out. But if it is the last one, or even if it isn't, I'm really hyped. And I think that that's going to be really, really good. And the other sequel that I'm really, really hyped for, other than Paisley Hope's Chasing the Fire, because I said that before, the other one is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. And that's the sequel to Say You'll Remember Me. Technically, it's like an interconnected standalone sort of book. I'm really hyped for that one because I really enjoyed Say You'll Remember Me. I've never read any of her other books before, but I enjoyed that one, and I'm intrigued to see how she expands on the connection to that one. I think that that will be really exciting. Question 14 is bookish things that you're leaving in 2025. I think a lot of the things I'm leaving in 2025 is personal, like comparing my reading pace to others, trying to make sure that I read more than one book in a week, trying to make sure I read a certain amount in a month. I just feel like I need to stop worrying about what other people are saying to me about what they're reading and the pace that they're reading at, because we're all different. And I feel like I put so much pressure on myself last year to try and keep up my reading pace and to try and just make sure that I was reading things that people loved, even if I wasn't enjoying them, and just to keep reading them and give them a chance. And I feel like I need to stop doing that. It's such like a me thing that I'm doing. I need to give myself a little bit less pressure. I feel like it's not that serious, and I need to just calm down, honestly. And again, like I just said, I don't want to anymore continue a book that I'm not enjoying just because I'm doing it for a video or I'm reading it because a friend's told me to. I need to just admit to myself when a book is not going well and to just put it down, because at the end of the day, again, it's not that serious. I don't need to read that book to impress anyone. If I'm not enjoying it, I'm not enjoying it. I just need to put it down. I just need to be a bit more gentle with myself, I feel, with that. And that's a lot of the things that I just want to leave behind. I also want to leave behind like all the judgment that other people have about other people that are reading, like how many books people are reading and why they're negative reviews, they don't agree with them, or how could you hate my book that I love. I just feel like we all need to leave that over there and just get on with our lives, honestly. I feel like that's that's my input. Anyway, Lord me on this side of the internet. Who cares what I say? But I want to be more positive with reading this year and just, be less harsh on myself and on others. I think that's going to make this year a really, really good reading year. Question 15 is, what can you expect from this YouTube channel this year? So again, I want to try and be mood reading. I'm also going to be prioritizing my TBR again, my physical TBR. I'm going to be reading a lot more books off that, and I'm going to be expanding my genres. I'm going to be reading complete series. I will be binge reading series all at once. Instead of putting the first book down and picking up another one, if I'm really enjoying that series, I'm just going to binge through that whole series. I don't care. You're going to probably see a lot from me just being myself and showing you exactly who I am as a person, not trying to compare myself to other YouTube channels, because at the end of the day, I think that we need a little more individuality. And that sounds really pretentious for me to say, I'll come here for individuality, because everyone's individual. And I think that honestly, I just want to this year with my channel be a little more real, and I want to read things that I love and not read things that I absolutely hate. So a lot of positivity coming from this channel, and I hope you guys stick around. Question 16 is, how has your reading taste evolved since last year? I think that my reading taste has evolved quite a bit. I think that I'm expanding away from young adult a little bit. I've noticed myself avoiding young adult books, or just starting to read them and just not enjoying them. And yeah, I'm getting older and I'm expanding out, but I honestly also think that they're just not hitting the same. And it's sort of at the point now where they're on the cusp of too adult or too young, and you don't know what level they're at until you're reading the book. And so I've just been, to a certain extent, avoiding books like that. So I do find myself drifting more towards adult books. I do find myself drifting more towards the literary fiction side of things. I'm a fantasy reader at heart. I will always love fantasy. Fantasy, I think, will always be my number one genre. But me expanding into literary fiction a little bit, I honestly think that it's because I'm reading books that are genuinely heartfelt and touching, and they just hit me in a different way because some of their experiences are my experiences, and it's real, but not in a frustrating way. Like, I don't read non-fiction a lot of the time because it's either frustrating for me or it's too confronting as real life things. But I think in a literary fiction book, it's done in a certain way that makes you understand it a bit better, but also in a good book will make you feel exactly what the characters are feeling. And that's what I love in books in general. So I see myself going that direction currently, and I feel like by the end of this year, I'm going to have a lot more books under my belt to talk about in a lot of different genres. I've also found that I'm avoiding certain tropes in fantasy books rather than just picking up any book that's popular. I'm finding out they have certain tropes and I'm just steering clear. And I think for my mental health and also for my physical health, I think that's really been life-changing for me this year. And going into this year, I want to have that same sort of energy going in. I feel like avoiding the books that I know that I won't like is not only better for the people that love those books and the authors of those books and those books in general, but it's better for my reading experience and reading things I genuinely enjoy. And question number 17 is, what booktube creators inspire you? And I have a top 3 at the moment that I find so inspiring and fun to watch. It's Larry Reads, Carrie Can Read, and Books and Lala. They're all so fun and not serious, and I just love the way that they make their videos, and they're so themselves, and I am really enjoying and being really inspired by their content and the way that they film videos, the way that they make their content, but also the way that they're reviewing their books. And they're so completely honest about their thoughts, and I really, really appreciate that and enjoy that. And I think that that's just really refreshing They're not the only booktube creators that I watch, but at the moment they're the most inspiring for me, and I really love them so much. So that's all the questions. I didn't feel like I needed to answer question 18, which is something to say to anyone wanting to start a YouTube, because I'm not quite there yet myself. I've only just started mine, and I feel like my opinion doesn't really matter at the moment. I don't have any experience under my belt, and so that to me is not a question for me to answer at the moment. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are just as hyped for this year as I am. I'm also so excited to see how I go in a couple of months and to look at my stats, and it's going to be so good this year. This year's going to be good. I have a great feeling about it. It's an even number year. We're going to be great, and I don't know, I'm just pumped. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to see you in the next one as well. But until that one, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and month, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.